The Steam Deck is a handheld gaming computer developed by Valve and released on February 25th, 2022. The device uses Valve's Linux distribution SteamOS. It's the first commercial success and the true king of handhelds. Ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about the Valve Steam Deck. This is honestly the videos that I've been wanting to do more than anything for the past 2 years. The Valve Steam Deck has revolutionized my relationship with gaming. Not with its handheld portability, but with its easy access to my games. Before, I would jump through so many hoops just to download the right emulator, set up BIOS files, and map the controller to what I hope made sense. And after all that, I might play for like an hour, while this gives me what I want when I want it. Mapped, up to date, and even upscaled. Valve's implementation of Linux, SteamOS, is fantastic. The Steam Deck community has built tools, scripts, and even plugins to further enhance the experience. EmuDeck, Decky controls, SteamGrid DB, auto flat packs, animation changer, game theme, music. It's so amazing. And there's so much more.
This is Steam Deck.
Valve revealed the Steam Deck on July 15th, 2021. The deck, existing in 3 different models based on internal storage options, was shipped starting February 2022. I was hyped from day one. A portable, gaming-capable PC backed by Valve? Sign me the fuck up. I remember seeing every review I could get my hands on. What were the specs? What could it play? Cyberpunk? Cemu? Yes. Just look at all this game footage. What's so cool to me is that this guy can do so much, like it can PC game, it can emulate, it can it's a full-fledged PC, it's you can do so much with it. But what makes this different from other handhelds? What's the magic sauce that Valve put in make it different? Well, the Steam Deck includes a custom AMD APU based on the Zen 2 and RDNA 2 architectures. The CPU runs a 4-core, 8-thread unit, and the GPU runs on 8 compute units, with a total of estimated performance of 1.6 T-flops, I guess. Okay, half of that doesn't mean much to me either. All that you need to know is that it's a customized CPU with some GPU guts built into it, aka an APU. The deck includes 16 gigs of LPDDR5 RAM, a 7-inch touchscreen LCD display with a 1280 by 800 pixel resolution, and a fixed 600 Hz refresh rate. Quick disclaimer, this is the LCD model 256 gig. That's the focus of the video. If you want to try to equate this to the OLEDs, that's perfectly fine. They approximate pretty well, but this is the focus of the video. These are the numbers I'm going to go by, not the current OLED. So looking at the spec sheet, we have a lower to mid tier gaming laptop, kinda, but one of the short source. Fuck, I was so good. So looking at the spec sheet, we have a lower to mid tier gaming laptop, kinda, but one of the sore spots for the Steam Deck is the storage. The base model comes with 256 gigs of storage and will cost around $399.99, at least at time of write. Yeah, that kind of sucks. But to help alleviate this bottleneck, the Steam Deck allows microSD cards for supplemental storage. I personally have a 1TB installed in mine on top of the built-in 256 gigs. I'm very happy with the purchase. Honestly, if you're looking into buying a Steam Deck, I would recommend this strategy. Buy the cheapest tier, use the money saved to buy a microSD card that fits your budget.
That 1 TB I mentioned was for around $80 last time I checked. Okay, now we have it. What can it do? Simply put, game. Originally designed for downloading Steam games like Cyberpunk, Horizon Zero Dawn, GTA 5. While these are heavy-hitting AAA titles, they can run absolutely fantastic on the Steam Deck. Even titles like Halo Master Chief Collection with the playable badge, it runs perfectly. The only issue is online multiplayer, but whatever. Star Wars The Force Unleashed had an untested badge, but then up Proton and then boom, it plays perfectly. A great tool for the Steam Deck is ProtonDB. It's a huge catalog of game compatibility with Proton, the magic sauce for getting Windows games to play on Linux. And here we can search for games and see what we might expect once we download them. Now, this isn't the be-all, end-all. Trying to get other game launchers like Battle.net and Epic Game Store running will take more steps and require Lutris to run smoothly. Though it looks like using Lutris, we lose the easy setup of Proton and instead use Wine.
So mileage may vary with the Fortnite and the Battle Pass and like other software, EA's the app, I guess. It should be fine. It should be fine. You'll be fine. It'll be fine. It's fine. Thinking about it, since we're here, we might as well actually take an actual physical look at this hardware. Like, what's the feel of this thing?
At first glance, it seems familiar enough. 2 joysticks, a D-pad, and your standard 4-face buttons, evenly marked YBAX. Paired with the shoulder buttons and triggers, the Steam Deck gives you a Wii U gamepad vibe, especially with the touchscreen. But that's not all. Valve decided to add the OS menu buttons along with trackpads and those extra triggers on the back. Okay, they're more button-like with feel, but calling them triggers or paddles seem more correct. Honestly, the OS menu buttons are okay. They don't get in the way and are easy enough to reach with my stubby thumbs. The trackpads are absolutely amazing for desktop mode on the go. Mouse and keyboard are not needed at all, though there is a little bit of a learning curve. The fit and finish as a whole feels great. Little to no flex, and my fingers curve around the handles comfortably. Gaming on the Steam Deck leaves my hands with minimum cramping at worst. The ergonomics are very well done. Now, with that said, we are just scratching the surface of the potential Steam Deck library. The Linux community quickly expanded the Steam Deck capabilities and introduced the Steam Deck community to the wonderful world of emulation.
This legal disclaimer is provided to inform users about the legal consequences associated with emulation and the unauthorized reproduction, distribution.
With that said, emulation is a very important part of gaming. It has kept software from rotting away into nothingness. The Steam Deck is a perfect handle for it. Using the software EmuDeck, you can set up every console emulator you could possibly imagine. EmuDeck is the cornerstone of emulation on the Steam Deck. It will download the appropriate emulators, make the correct folder tree, and all you have to do is just have your legally attained files and put them into the correct folders. Do a little of this and a little of that. Controls? Figured. Emulators? Set up. Done and done. Once you're back in game mode, it's open season for most games and emulators. Okay, I have to mention compatibility can be a sore spot. Now, this isn't necessarily SteamOS's fault. Emulation as a whole is a third-party thing. If you have a game you must play, look up the emulators, Q&A, and good luck. The Valve Steam Deck, of course, runs SteamOS and not Windows. It's based on Arch Linux distro and is rather easy, and maybe is meant to be, an exploitable version of Linux. I can't help but think, did Valve really try to lock down their OS? Okay, lockdown might be a bit of an overstatement, but come on, how did they not see the Arch Linux community taking advantage of this platform? They must have been pretty confident that Nintendo wasn't going to rattle their collective shit. The Steam client on the deck features a revised interface and functions different from the standard desktop client. Game mode is huge, flat out, straight from boot right into your previously played. Then with a quick flick of the thumbs, you're into the Steam store or your extended library. To me, one of the best features is Game Scope. Hardware monitor, device system controls, menu thing. Look at all these options. It's a tinker's dream. Playing Horizon Zero Dawn, crank up the GPU wattage and clocks. Getting some childhood memories going, turn it all down to save some battery. And with third-party applications like Decky Loader, the level of customization goes to the moon. Want custom artwork for your game's thumbnails? Want the game's OST playing in the menu? Change the whole boot animation? Customize the fan curve, update all your apps. Now, some disadvantages is that it's a console. Yes, you can enter desktop mode, but the trackpads and UI keyboard isn't exactly enough for classwork and answering emails. Yes, it's absolutely usable, but as a portable device, we are giving up some of its PC DNA for a better gaming experience. Honestly, this is a worthwhile trade. Console by day, gaming PC by night. And the transition is flawless. No awkward settings or messy pre-configuration between game mode and desktop mode. Works the first time, every time. And with desktop mode, the Steam Deck is complete. Web browser, mouse and keyboard, desktop gaming, it's really no different from Windows. But if you want to get to the nitty gritty, you have full access to the command line, folder structures. Honestly, the whole device is at your fingertips.
As much as I praise this beautiful piece of hardware, I can't help but feel somber about it. It's aging. It's going to be outdated. And unfortunately, Valve has yet to bring out or even mention its sequel, the Steam Deck 2, if you will. But also at the same time, I kind of feel like someone already else has.
Yes, its base model starts at $599 while not having a discrete GPU, but its hardware smokes the competition. The top tier model comes with a 7-inch 1080p display at 120Hz, powered by the AMD Ryzen Z1 Extreme processor, paired with 16 gigs of RAM and a 512 SSD. This handheld is one hell of a wake-up call to Valve, and while its sales look great, this isn't pushing the Steam Deck numbers. Why? Price? Is it the color? Or maybe it's something more fundamental.
I mean, honestly, it's just making the game go more vroom, right? I mean, even then, it still can't just go, or can it?
Yes, Windows pretty much has 100% compatibility with all Steam games. Windows can be slapped on almost any laptop, desktop, and even some tablets. The GPU drivers are pretty much built for Windows, and Windows is backed by a multi-billion-dollar company. And it's been trusted for gaming for the past 30 years, give or take. But when it comes to handhelds, it misses the mark. SteamOS, the secret sauce of Valve's runaway success, the Steam Deck, has the potential to finally usurp Microsoft's throne. In-game, browse the internet, write a Word document, listen to music, transfer files to USB or over network. You can even run Windows applications through Proton. Mileage may vary, but the gap between what makes Windows such a great staple and Linux a clunky, hostile user experience is closing rapidly. So if SteamOS is what makes the Steam Deck so amazing, why should everyone buy one? Just download the SteamOS 3.0 recovery image and start cracking. Well, Valve honestly doesn't want that. At least not yet. Don't get me wrong, Valve is perfectly within their rights to keep SteamOS from officially supporting anything other than the Steam Deck. Or so they hope. Keeping an Arch Linux operating system locked down to one piece of hardware is adorably naive. Okay, I don't think Valve is really that naive, but their lack of official general hardware support does show that Valve wants, or maybe even needs, more Steam Deck sales. Why release an OS to support PCs that immediately outperforms their own console? But frankly, it doesn't matter, or at least it didn't. Hollow ISO is probably the red-headed stepchild of the Linux community come to life. This project attempts to bring the Steam Deck's Steam OS Holo redistribution into a generic and installable format and provide a close to official SteamOS experience. Main point, the project focuses on re-implementing proprietary, as in runs only on the deck, components that the Steam client, the OS itself, game scope, and user-created applications on the deck rely on, and making me learn and relearn Linux in a fun and unique way. Yay. Okay, enough reading the GitHub. What does this mean in the real world?
This is Steve. Say hi, Steve.
My name is Jeff.
He says hi.
Steve at the time of filming is running HoloISO 5.0. We have support for our more powerful RX 5500 XT, 8 gig. The CPU is well old, rocking an Intel i7 4790. Steve isn't going to break any Cinebench records, but he can game. Let's try some of those same titles from earlier and see how the benchmarks play out.
That's right, 1080p high settings. And we could go up to 4K with most titles.
Now, that isn't the most optimal resolution for this set of hardware, but the results are stunning. And we have so much more room to push this PC. It almost makes the Steam Deck kinda useless in comparison. And the high-end rig would be even more so. Now, setting up the OS is quite a challenge, especially if you want it right out of the box.
So the Steam Deck is the 3DS, the Wii U.
No. HoloISO is riddled with issues. The Decky plugin manager is usable, but not fully functional yet. Wi-Fi solutions can be hit and miss as well. Your OS drive is pretty much it. Any additional drives can be added, but won't easily mount on boot. So some wins, some losses.
So where does the Steam Deck fit in all this mess?
It's right where it was from the start. A massively successful handheld meant for PC gaming on the go. It is still the gold standard. Most manufacturers will have an uphill climb to compete. Any PC handheld will almost 100% of the time have the Steam Store installed on it, meaning Valve will make revenue on game sales, only making it easier to R&D their next handheld and ultimately making it easier to smoke the competition with its next iteration of the Steam Deck. So a potential sale of the ROG Ally only means more sales on Steam Game Store. Good job, Asus.
Honestly, out of everything, I still recommend this. The fit and finish, the feel, the overall excellence with the OS and the UI, and how everything just fits together and it just works so well. Windows can't match it. The Asus ROG Ally can't match the price. But speaking of the ROG Ally, there is something interesting about it. It's more powerful, has a high refresh rate, 1080p display, RGB, has still like the back buttons. There's a lot here that I enjoy. But there might be something else I might be able to add to it. And as always, thanks for watching.